Hello and welcome to John Boy's Radio and Electronics Workbench. What do you got today, John? Yeah, well, we're just going to do a little history and a little background for one of the workhorse chassis from the late 70s. This one here is a perfect example. It is the realistic Navaho. This one's the TRC 458, the last of the Radio Shack series that came with this chassis. So it's the only thing about it that I never really cared for is it didn't have a mic gain control on the outside. There's a mic gain on the inside, but it's inaccessible when the cover is closed. Otherwise, it just has volume, squelch, RF gain, and the clarifier and the mode switch, and of course the ANL and NB and a PA switch. That's the front panel. Pretty simple. Let me turn it around so you can see the back real quick. You will notice that there's nothing back here except it has the standard connector that they still use today, except the new ones are keyed a little bit better than the older ones were, but they still fit. There's a little bit of corrosion there, not too bad. And the power connector, which is where the switch is for the DC side. So in order for the DC to work, you have to pull this out and plug this in. If you plug this in, it disables the DC side. And a lot of these were like that back then. And it enabled people to lose the power cord, which this power cord, these are getting really rare, getting harder to find. So now I'm going to pull the cover off and let you see the inside. Okay, the screws are out and the cover is off. This is what they call the 858 chassis, and they named it that. Well, I guess I named it that. Maybe other people have too. But basically what you have here is the PLL chip, which is right here. Uniden it's made special for this. All of these chassis are the same. They are, let me look at here. I think it's single conversion. I'd have to look at the schematic. It might be dual conversion. I'd have to look again. It's been a while since I dug into the output of these, but it's still a really good chassis. Nice crystal filter here, big jobber. 858 chip. There's an 858 chip here. You can always recognize it when you take the cover off. You see this shield and that big chip sitting there. You know that's the chassis. And it has a relay, of course. These had the relay into them. So the PLL is here, and this PLL, they use 3 crystals, one for AM, one for lower, and one for upper. And then back here on the other side of the shield is the IF, the 10.695 IF megahertz, and they use 2 crystals for that. One is for upper and AM, and one is for lower. Other than that, it's not much different from the newer chassis. It has one final, one driver, and here's the pre-driver. The 8-volt regulators, the AMC regulator for AM power, and power supply here. And you'll probably notice that this has been completely recapped. I did this for a customer a while back. He brought it in so that I could showcase it. All these caps are brand spanking new and ready for another 20 years of hopefully good operation. So I don't have a whole lot. We're going to plug in the microphone. I'll show you what it looks like on the transmit side. It's got a real clean modulator. You can make these dirty as well. A lot of people do. Here we go. Let's see here. Where am I? Turn on the scope. There we go. That's already on. There we go. Scope is on. Okay. wasting my junk here. Okay, let's turn some tone up and make sure we've got her plugged in here. All right, there we go. So that's what the modulation looks like. This one's set up in a fairly clean. You see, as I go further away, it gets worse, and get it closer. So as I got it set a little hot, but it's still not real splattery. But it's nice and loud. That's what you got. That's what you like. I like to see about 4 watts and about between 12 and 15 peak envelope power, which is pretty much where it's at. And on sideband. And on sideband, it should look like, kind of like that. Nice, and then filling out. This one does about 14 on sideband. Audio, it's got a nice clean look to it. You can tell by the scope there, it's really nice. On AM, it's doing really well too. This is really when it's right on frequency. It's been a really good piece. So a little bit of history. Let me tilt this up on its side and bring over this guy. I'm not sure if you can see or read my writing there. I could probably zoom in a little bit here. Yeah, okay. Zoom it in a little bit. So I got it. This is my 858 photo fact that I made years and years ago for the 457 and the 458. That's the schematics and the alignment procedure. I have the book on it and I never pull it. I always use this. But I just wanted you to see, this is the MB, the 858 chip. Uniden 858 chip. Uniden made it. I just call it the 858. I think it's got another number on it. Yeah, D858. D858. I just call it the 858 chip for reference. So what you're looking at here is not all, probably most of the chassis that I could find that were conducive of this same circuit board. All of these radios here are the same circuit board, and I wrote down what CB SAMs they're in. So if you're interested in this, you can stop and take a screenshot and keep this for your records. Also the date that they came out, whether they're a mobile or a base. So they had the 138 was a great chassis. These are the first ones that came out in 1977, and then the President Adams came out later, and the Grant, the old Grant, not the new, not to be the old Grant Mobile, not the new Grant Mobile, but the old Grant Mobile. And then the President Adams, and then the old President Madison, old one. They made a new one, had the 8719 chip, and then the President Washington, old. Okay, all of these were back in 1978, and you can see by the numbers here that they all kind of were in the same area. So it's that is kind of the history of it. The T-Berry Stalker made an 858 chassis. They made the 101, the 102, and a 202, but it never made it to SAMs. I don't know why. I know that you don't really need it. If you just had any one of these would cover this, would cover the alignment procedure for you. And this is a WKS. I don't think I've ever even seen one of these. It's a 1001, no SAMs for that. And the Palomar SSB 500 old. It also, they made a new one with these too. They made a new one that had a different board on it and put the same name on it. But that's kind of the big bang of this chassis. There's not much more to say about it. It's definitely the workhorse of that era. A lot of people still want these, but I guarantee you if you buy one of these, you're going to have a good tech recap it for you to get it back up to spec, because you can see by 1978 it is 2025 now, and boy, I tell you, that's a long time. 45 years. Yep, 45 years, and I guarantee you all the caps are going bye-bye, all the electrolytics especially. So what I'm going to show you next is the spectrum response. Spectrum response of this radio is quite good. It's up there with a lot of the newer chassis that I'll show you down the road. Let's go ahead and go to the analyzer. And we have the analyzer. Let's see if I can get the, there it is, Realistic Navajo. So we're going to key her up on AM, and you're going to see the results. So you can see it's a pretty clean chassis. It has the usual suspects, which are the main pip here. So I can actually show you on the mouse now. Here we go. This is the main frequency here, and here is the second harmonic, which is right at 54 megahertz. And this is the one that bothered all the TVs. So if you were on television in 1978 on an antenna and somebody was next to you broadcasting, guess what? If they were running power, this right here would wipe out. I think it was channel 13, maybe channel 13, channel 7, at least up here in this area. So that's kind of what's deal here. And there's another pip up here. I can't see it. It's really not coming up. It's not enough to, kind of 81 megahertz. So there's another harmonic here that's up there, but these are way down. These are within spec. So you're looking at between the peak of the signal and this top of the peak is about 60 dB, which I believe is spec. I think you can get it lower. There's a can back here. If I can remember, there's a can. If I can get my screwdriver out and diddle with it real quick. This guy right here, I believe. Yep, see the number 2 going up and down? So if I take that down, you see the number 2 going up. And when I pull it out, it goes down. Put it back where it was. That's within spec. That's the peak right there. Oh. That's real good there. So you want to adjust it. It's called a trap. They put the trap in all these radios. A lot of guys think that, oh, I'm going to get more power out of it if I play with that. No, you don't want to mess with that one. That's this guy right here. Oh, sorry about that. I'm on the spectrum analyzer, but it's back there by the relay on the left. There's a coil back there, and you adjust it for minimum. And I've never been able to do that until now. I have never had the ability to do that till I had the spectrum analyzer. They were all set to the factory, and there was no way for the average tech to be able to adjust it if he didn't have a spectrum analyzer. And now spectrum analyzers are a lot cheaper. You can certainly get one very inexpensively now. Give this the old freeze-a-rona. There we go. I can unkey it. But that's the spectral analysis. Realistic Navajo TRC 458. So I want you to see this as well. Cross mode reception on sideband. So very, very good. See, it's got good signal here. Now if I go to the other side, hear it a little bit there. I don't know if you can hear it. But once you get up to there, it's gone. So the cross between upper and lower sideband, if somebody's on upper and you're on lower, these radios had excellent rejection between the modes. And a lot of the newer ones don't. Much of the Galaxy series and a lot of the newer radios that have sideband, because they're not using that big crystal filter that they and just for reference here, this is the can for the trap right back here. I guess my big fat head's in the way there. Oh. Okay, back here. Right in here. This guy right next to the AMC transistor right in here. That guy right there, right next to the relay. That's the one you adjust for minimum. And don't mess with that if you're a tech and you don't have a spectrum analyzer. You just make matters worse. I know we're on digital now, and those frequencies, that splatter doesn't matter as much anymore. But still, leave it alone. And I think that's just about all I got. It's kind of a quick video. I just wanted to show you the fun stuff with this thing. And this one was a long one. It took about 2.5, 3 hours to recap. So with that, I will finish up this video and move on to the next thing. Okay, well, hope you enjoyed the video. If you made it to the end, please like and subscribe and give me a thumbs up. Sure would appreciate it. And this is John Boy's Radio and Electronics Workbench, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.